he's getting in the lane. Now, he doesn't have a choice. If he doesn't get in the lane and he's not attacking, I'm taking him out, and he knows that. And he's starting to find out, wow, I'm really big, I'm really strong, and I'm really skilled. Aaron did the same today. Instead of settling for all jumpers, you saw him get in the lane and create shots for us and for himself. That's what those two, that's the difference. They're 6'6". They're big. They don't have to settle. They don't have to play slow. I think defensively it's the same thing. I thought Carl and Calipari were outstanding today. You know, the other guys all played pretty well, but those two stood out. Willie was okay. You know, I know you look, he's 4 for 4 and 4 rebounds, but he played 20 minutes. He could have, in my opinion, done more. But, you know, it was a good start to the game.
Cal, as good as Anthony was the minute he got here, we watched him get better and better and better over the course of the year. Does what Carl is doing right now sort of remind you of that?
I sat him down at the end. I said, you're making strides. Now, he had an offensive push-off because he didn't want to sit down. You have to understand, he's physically not near what he's going to be like in 2 or 3 years. He is an 18-year-old body physically. So there are times he tries to do everything up here, which leads to offensive fouls. There were a couple defensive breakdowns he had. But the reality of it is he's starting to be the best version of himself, but all of them are. And that's all I've been talking about. Let's not worry about all this clutter. Everybody's talking about this, that, and the other. Let's just be the best we can be. They're looking after each other. They had 25 assists. I mean, they're 6 guys in double figures. You know, 2 other guys with 9, Trey and Willie. So it's what we want to be. And, you know, we scored a lot, made a lot more shots than we normally do, but they also did. I mean, they made 11 threes. You know, that's one of the things everybody says, to beat us, you got to make threes. Well, they made 11. I think Mississippi made 12. I mean, maybe that's not the answer. I don't know. Maybe it is. We've had teams out-rebound us. But when you know, and again, we had a couple guys. I think Devin had 4 turnovers. Probably had 3 or 4 too many turnovers. But in a game that fast, you're going to have a few extra.
You had talked about reestablishing dominance in the paint. How well do you think you guys did that?
Did good. What happens is it forces them to make choices. So are they going to try to front the post? Are they going to try to trap? If they do trap, are they trapping from a big guy? Are they trapping from a guard? Are they just going to dig? And then we had to play off of it, and we played well off of it. We kicked it out for threes. We kicked it out for drives. We posted the ball when the court was spread. Calipari, instead of slowly, he was down when he caught it so he could just raise up and shoot the ball. He rebounded and kept the ball above his head. And I thought Carl was doing the same things.
John, when you got here, this program was not in good condition, obviously. 3 Final Fours in 5 years. Top recruiting classes every year. Playing like tonight. How have you gotten this done?
Well, first of all, you got to have a lot of families have trust that we have their child and give us that opportunity to coach them and help them reach their dreams. Their dreams become our dreams. We sit on the same side of the table as them. And then the second thing is, when they get here, they got to know we're about them, because there's no way they'll share. I don't care what you're in, what business you're in, team, program, us, we're going to do this. Everyone within that organization is going to want to know what's in it for me. I'll do all this, but what's in it for me? Well, these kids know what's in it for them. I think that trust is a big part of it. And then, you know, we've got an administration here that understands that these kids have done well academically. They make us proud in our community. They leave us and make us proud in the other communities. They've learned servant leadership. And if we have a turnover and every once in a while have a bad year, NIT, lose to Robert Morris, it's going to happen when you have this kind of turnover. Now, would I rather coach kids for 4 years? Yeah. It'd be better for me. I don't think it'd be better for them to stay 4 years. But I would say if you ask me, it starts with families. And I said we went, after that first year when I figured out what in the world do we have here, the first year, went from the business of basketball to the business of helping families. And then it all took off because we made it about them.
Coach Cal, how important was it for your defense to stop Auburn's top 3 scorers, Bowers?
That was the whole idea was you got to be on these 3. And they can score, and they can score in bunches, and they did. I mean, Mason had 29. Could have had more. Harrell had 17. I mean, those 2 can play with anybody in our league. And when they felt they could get baskets and they got into a comfort level, they made shots. If you didn't guard them, they were going to make shots. I've watched them against Mississippi, had them beat. They beat LSU. I watched all their tapes. They've been in every game they played and had a chance to win every game until this one. So, we got them pretty good today. They hit us on a tough day. We were working on all cylinders and really guarding, but it was, Marcus Lee gets 6. So basically the 9 guys that are playing all got 6 or more. Crazy. 25 assists. Crazy. Wait a minute. Why aren't they playing for themselves? They're playing for each other. They all got each other's back. And the reason they can do that is because they know we have their back individually. I got you. Just be about each other. And it's been fun.
Cal, was this closer to Michigan, Marcus Lee tonight that we saw from?
He did some good stuff. I'm proud of him. He's getting better. How about Willie making jumpers? I mean, he's in the gym working. Shoot him in the game. Trying to get Trey to catch and shoot more one dribble pull-ups. It's what he is. Like I said, this is a good team. We got to, now we got to go on the road and we say, oh, it's Mississippi State. Really? They had Arkansas down at half and lose by 4. They had Mississippi down 10 in the first half. End up losing by 6, I believe. Now we're coming to town. Do you think it'll be a T-shirt day? A white out, a maroon out. It's going to be something. Black out, something. So we got another tough one coming up.
John, when you talk about the 25 assists and Andrew has 9 of them, when he's distributing the ball like you want, how contagious is that?
It's not distributing. He's attacking and getting in the lane. He's getting in the lane. When he gets in the lane, because one, he can make shots, he can make free throws, and he's a great passer. He plays on instinct. He's unbelievable. I want he and his brother to do it more. If they don't attack, if they jog it up or they catch it and hold the ball, I'm taking them out. I don't even care if they turn it over some. And I told him that. You're going to turn it over some playing that way. I'm good with that. Just attack. Be in that mode. If they totally back off, shoot it. Play. I don't want to run a whole lot of plays. We got good enough players.
How have you evolved since you got here, and how has it affected your program?
Probably the same. I've been my whole life. Did they beep that? That's what I've been told anyway.
I mean, as a person or a coach.
If you watch me, would you say I'm more calm during the games than I've been? I don't think so. As much as winning matters and championships and all that, at this stage in my career, the greatest day you have is you're in that green room. You're at the All-Star game. You were in those homes. You saw all that. And what happens is, the way this is played out, they drag us where we want to go. Our fans, the Big Blue Nation. As long as we keep looking after them, then they just drag us. And it's kind of been like when you make life about everybody else, it kind of gets easier. And this has gotten a little bit easier, even though it's, we have our days. But I have a job that when I walk in a home, kids only know 3 years, folks. They don't know 10 years. They don't know 96, 98. They don't know 2005. They're barely remembering 2010. They remember 3 years. Their parents, on the other hand, remember the last 20 years. So we kind of got it good both ways. and it's a big advantage. But
John, you've been saying all year, it's November. I want us to look like a November team, not a March team. It's February 21st. When do they need to
do you
look
know
like
what we looked like last February 21st?
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah.
We looked like it was November 1st.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
See, it's like everybody saying, that we're this and that. It was just a year ago that we were on the cusp. And if we would have lost the opening game to LSU, we would not have been in the NCAA tournament. Oh, they can say, oh, you're just saying it. We wouldn't have been in. It gave them an excuse to keep us out. By winning those games and getting to the finals, and then we got a beautiful 8 seed. Then we turned around, but it was late February. We weren't very good. Now, last year at this time, we were practicing 3 hours a day. They got 1 day a week off only because I was forced by the rules to give them 1 day a week off. Now, we're going 2 days off a week, and the day before a game is 1 hour and 15, and the middle practice is 1 hour 45, and they're getting 2 days off. That's the difference. I trust them. I trust giving them time. I know they believe in one another. I couldn't do it last year. We started 5 freshmen. There's no way. And I had never practiced like that. We have coaches that do that. They practice 3.5 hours and late in the year, and they still win. That's fine. I've not done it that way. But last year I did. Last question.
John, Tony Neely told us that your home record here in Rupp is now 100 wins, 4 losses. How does that record strike you?
Who were the 4 losses, Jerry? Go ahead. You know them all. Take them. Take us out. Take us down. Who's coming to town? They know they can beat us. Who was the other one? Florida beat us. A&M beat us. A&M, the kid had 50. The stupid coach didn't double team him when he got 50 on us. No, this is a hard place for an opponent to come and play. But please, I think every coach here that's coached here, his home record has been almost, if it's not been, I don't know what Coach Rupp's record is here, but I bet you if you looked at Coach Hall and Coach Pitino and you look at all their records were 80%, 90% here. I mean, this is a tough building to play. We've been fortunate. We've had really good players, but, we've been fortunate. That means I'm done.
Guys, Auburn's up next. We'll have Calipari, Marcus tomorrow.
Perfect time. Police officer laying up against it, yeah. Pretty good time. Antoine Mason will bring Coach Pearl up in a minute. So that was a question for Antoine.
Antoine, what was that first half like to fall so far behind so fast?
I mean, it's tough, especially that's the number 1 team. So any run they get is an advantage on them. We didn't start the game off like we wanted to, and they hit us in our mouth first and continued. I mean, we were supposed to start off like that, but when you're down that much, you just trying to make it respective. And I mean, we talked about it at halftime that we just got to fight, we just got to compete, and we didn't do that in the first half. And I felt like we did that a little bit in the second half, but we just got to get better. Their size played a factor, but I mean, we got pushed around from every position, and from there, it just took a toll on us. They had that huge lead, like you said, in the first half, and trying to come back, it's tough doing that.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Go ahead and take questions.
Bruce, what did you tell your team at half and then after the game?
The message was similar, both at halftime and after the game. I didn't think we competed as well as we needed to. 62 points in the paint. Their centers dominated. We're trying to front the post, and they pounded in there deep anytime they wanted to. They were very physical offensively. And it's nothing like anything we see all year long. It's not what they do offensively as far as pounding inside. There's nobody in the league that's even close to that. It's the biggest team in the country against a team that's very small, but and probably the smallest team in the league. But I didn't think we competed. I didn't think we represented very well. And we had 15 defensive rebounds. They had 12 offensive rebounds. So pretty much they just, they obviously had their way. So I would have loved to have seen a little bit more toughness in my team. I encouraged them that at halftime. And, we played them 9 points in the second half. And it was better. But obviously, last time I was down, was it 30-4? 30-4? I was down 30-8, 1995. UC Riverside, Southern Indiana, Division II National Championship in Louisville, Kentucky. Where's Eric Crawford? Eric Crawford was covering me then. We were down 30-8 in the national championship game. This game reminded me nothing of that game. We weren't coming back.
Bruce, you've played against a lot of good Calipari teams. Where does this one rank, you think?
That's a great question. Their ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter and hunt shots, they want them. I mean, if anybody goes zone now, their eyes get big. That's a good fit. That's a good thing. You double down the post, they can hardly wait for it to get kicked out. And the deal is they're so much more dominant on the inside because those guys can score down in there. Takari Johnson and Towns and Trey Lyles, those guys score down there. They can score down there. So they got a really good inside-outside combination. I don't know that defensively they're John's best team. They play hard. They play unselfishly. I think they got great kids. I think this is a team that coaches enjoying coaching. But they're physically overwhelming. I've never seen freshmen that strong, that physical. Golly. I didn't play against Kid Gilchrist in that group. That was my favorite team to ever watch. As long as I've been in basketball, that team was my favorite team. Because I knew those kids in recruiting, and that was my first year out. And that was a great team. I don't know that this team is that good yet. They can be.
Hey, Bruce, along those lines, do you expect them to go undefeated the rest of the way? What do you rate their chances?
You know, I think because of the character and chemistry, I think they certainly can. They're the most physical offensive team we've played, and one of the things that I would be just a little concerned about if they let them play, which I hope they would in a big game. Okay, they're going to be they should have a real good chance. I just would hate that if they all of a sudden start calling it differently in the tournament and start calling a lot of, because they're very physical when they post up. They're very physical when they get it in there deep. And none of those were fouls tonight. If that stays the way it will be, I think they certainly can.
Bruce, with that said, how important is Andrew Harrison to their team, do you think, for what he does directing that offense?
Well, I mean, I think that, look, he's got great size, and he can go by you, and he looks over the top of you, and so I think that that's a real factor. He's solid defensively. He's a big guard, but both of the Harrisons play good defense. I mean, they're committed to it. So.
Coach, will you in the future make changes to with your team not being that big to playing teams that are much bigger? What's going to be the strategy when you have to play another team that's much bigger than yours?
Recruit bigger players is probably going to be the strategy, I think. Let's give Antoine Mason some credit. That was a special night for him, and I don't know if John talked about it or if anybody's talked about it, but given his father's health, and given the fact that his father's back in New York, and fighting for his life, to come to Rupp and put up 29, I don't care what the score was, and I'm just glad that your fans got a treat in the sense that he had it going a little bit, and that was great. Happy for him. It's hard to do. He was efficient doing it.
Bruce, what kind of an advantage is it for Kentucky to have not 1, 2, 3, but 4 or 5 big guys to pound away?
Well, I mean, obviously you can withstand foul trouble, and one of the biggest things for me is this. I can't even imagine what their practices are like. I mean, I just can't. And like for me, it's when we're not as deep, not as talented, it's hard for me in practice to get our guys to get better sometimes. Okay, our roster's pretty thin. I can't live without 2 or 3 guys for sure. These guys getting better because they're banging each other in practice all the time. So great depth is a great thing. And they're playing, 25 assists. They're sharing the ball. Just got to keep on listening to coach and take it one at a time and stay unselfish. Thank you, guys.